Good morning, students. In the last class we had studied Kirchhoff's laws. One is junction law, another is voltage law. And these two laws we shall be using now in the next important derivation. This derivation is to derive the condition of balance for a Wheatstone's bridge. Sometimes it is also called as Wheatstone network. So we shall find out the condition of balance using Kirchhoff's laws. So if you are perfect with the Kirchhoff's laws, that is the junction law and the voltage law, if you are knowing correctly how to apply the sign convention, then this derivation becomes very easy. Otherwise, simply you have to by heart the derivation. So we shall recall what we had done for junction law and voltage law now, and we shall derive the condition for balance of a Wheatstone bridge. Why this word Wheatstone? He is a British physicist who had derived this bridge to determine the unknown resistance. So this Wheatstone bridge is called because this galvanometer, it is a bridge between 2 points which are having the same potential. So this is called as Wheatstone bridge, named after the physicist Wheatstone. It is also called as Wheatstone's network also. So now we shall first see the diagram. What is a Wheatstone's bridge? This Wheatstone bridge consists of 4 resistors connected in cyclic order. You can see the resistors now. I have 4 resistors here. Let us go in cyclic order. R1, R2, slight change here, R4 and R3. These are connected in cyclic order. They are connected in the form of a quadrilateral. That quadrilateral is A, B, C, D. So 4 resistors in the form of a quadrilateral. This arrangement is called as Wheatstone bridge. Now 2 opposite terminals are there for the Wheatstone's bridge now. This is A, B, C, D. A and C is one pair of opposite terminals. B and D is another pair of opposite terminals. Now what is the next arrangement? Between any pair of opposite terminals, let us say A and C, I can connect a battery here. EMF is E. Let us now neglect the internal resistance of the battery. In the problem, internal resistance will be there. For the derivation, we are neglecting the internal resistance. So it is having EMF E. Now here between the other pair of opposite terminals, that is B and D, we connect a galvanometer having resistance equals to G. So this is this simple arrangement. We call it as the Wheatstone bridge. What is the aim of the derivation? We shall find out when is the Wheatstone's bridge said to be balanced and what condition is required for the balanced Wheatstone network. So to obtain the condition of balance, we are making use of the Kirchhoff's laws. Now let us start with the laws. Before that, you see clearly what are the currents over here. We start with the positive terminal of the battery. Main current is I. The I current comes to the point A. It divides into 2 branches. I1 flows to R1 and I2 flows to R2. Then this I2 comes to the point B. Again it divides into 2 branches. Ig flows to the galvanometer and I4 flows through R4. Here I1 comes to the point D. Ig again comes to the point D and the resultant current I3 flows through R3. So now again these 2 currents I4 and I3, they combine to form the main current I. So this is the arrangement of this Wheatstone's network. Carefully you have to see the directions of current, and now we shall apply the junction law for 2 junctions. Which are the junctions I have told you? One is the point B, another is the point D. We are applying junction law to the junction B and D. You will get 2 equations. We shall apply the voltage law to 2 loops. What are the 2 loops here? One loop is only a portion of this. This is a big network, you can see. I will take only a small portion of it. Small portion of a complex network. I have told you it is called as a loop, closed path for current. Now you can see how many loops are there in this diagram. Let us not take the whole thing like this ABCD. We shall take one loop here. A, B, D, A. So this is one loop. Another loop also is possible here. That is B, C, D, B. This is another loop. So 2 loops I am getting. For the 2 loops again I will be applying Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now let us start with the junction law. Junction law we shall apply. KCL is the junction law. We shall apply it at the junction B. What is the junction law? Junction law is nothing but the sum of currents towards the junctions is equals to sum of currents away from the junction. This is your junction law. Okay. So this junction law, now here we shall apply to the point B. What are the currents towards the junction? I2 comes towards the junction. What are the currents going away from the junction? I4 is going away from the junction. IG is also going away from the junction. So what will happen at the junction B? Incoming current is I2. So I2 will be nothing but sum of outgoing currents. What are the outgoing currents? I4 plus IG. So I got equation 1. Now same junction law we shall apply to the point D. Find out what are the currents towards the junction. Two currents are there towards the junction. I1 comes towards D. IG also comes towards D. What is the outgoing current? It is I3. So how will you apply the junction law? Sum of currents towards the junction, that is I1 plus IG. I1 plus IG is equal to currents away from the junction. Only one current is away from the junction, that is I3. So it is equals to I3. So I got two equations, equations 1 and 2. I got these equations using the same law, Kirchhoff's current law at the junctions B and D. Now two loops I told you. For these two loops, we shall apply the voltage rule. Again, for voltage rule, you have to remember the sign convention. Revision of that voltage law. Voltage rule is like this: summation E plus summation IR is equals to 0. Very carefully, you should remember the sign convention. E is positive when we move in the direction of increase of potential, that is negative terminal to positive terminal, it is plus E. And if you move against the direction of current, you will have plus IR. Reverse, you will have for the decrease of potential, you take traverse SL from positive to negative terminal, decrease in potential, so it is minus E. If you go in the direction of current, it is minus IR. So we shall apply the sign convention now to this loop, that is A, B, D, A. How to traverse the loop is your choice. You can go either in the clockwise, you can also go in the anti-clockwise. Result will be the same. Let us say we are going in this anti-clockwise direction for the loop A, B, D, A. So I have written it here. By KVL for the loop A, B, D, A. Now here, if you see this, we are having only 3 resistors. G is the resistance of the galvanometer. 3 resistors are there. There is no cell in the circuit. So this summation E does not come into play. You will have only summation IR equals to 0. So now let us go in this direction. So first product, we are going in this direction. Current is also moving in the same direction. So this term will become minus. Minus I1 R1. So that will be the first one. Minus I1 R1. Move ahead. You are going in this direction. Current is in the opposite direction. So when they are opposing, it is plus. So plus IgG. Plus IgG. Move ahead again here. You are going in this direction. This is your direction of traverse. This is the opposite current. So they are in the opposite direction. So again it becomes plus. So plus I2 R2 is equals to 0. So this is my equation 3 by the voltage law. Same thing we shall apply to the second law. B, C, D, B. This is another loop. Let us also traverse this loop in the same anti-clockwise direction. And now here also, how many no cells are there? Only 3 resistors are there. What are the 3 resistors? G, R4 and R3. And the currents are shown in the figure. Now let us go to the product now. I am going in this direction now. Now first, I am going in this direction. Current is also flowing in the same direction. When they are in the same direction, it is minus. So it becomes minus I3 R3 first one. Then we come across here. I am going in this direction. Current is in the opposite direction. So opposite direction means it becomes plus. So it becomes plus I4 R4. The last one. I am going in this direction. This direction and this direction, they are in the same. So I will write it as minus IgG is equals to 0 because no cells are there. So I got another equation 4 by KVL. So I got 4 equations. 2 equations from KCL, 2 equations from KVL. Now the most important point is the aim of the derivation. What is the aim? I have written one word there. Condition of balance. What do you mean by the condition of balance, or when do you say that the Wheatstone's bridge is balanced? The condition is like this: whenever no current passes through the galvanometer. What is the current passing through the galvanometer? Ig is the current passing through the galvanometer. When no current passes through the galvanometer, in the sense that is Ig is equals to 0. So when Ig is equals to 0, that is no current passes through the galvanometer, then the network is said to be balanced. So if you see the evaluation for this writing Ig equals to 0, you get 1 mark, because this is the basic point here. So no current passes through the galvanometer means galvanometer will not show any deflection, or else points B and D are at the same potential. So B and D are at the same potential. If they are at the same potential, current will not flow. Current always flows from positive higher potential to lower potential. Current does not pass through the galvanometer. Means B and D are at the same potential. So when Ig is equals to 0, or when no current passes through the galvanometer, that is the galvanometer shows 0 deflection, then the network is said to be balanced. So let us now put Ig equals to 0 in all the 4 equations and then find out what comes out of it. So I am putting Ig equals to 0 in 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is very simple. Put Ig equals to 0. So this term gets cancelled. You are left with I2 equals to I4. Put Ig equals to 0. This is 0. So you are left with I1 equals to I3. That I have written here. I2 is equals to I4. I will call it as 5. Then I1 is equals to I3. I got equation 6. Same thing, Ig equals to 0. We shall put in equations 3 and 4. So wherever Ig term is here, it becomes 0. Here also Ig term is there, this becomes 0. So here we are left with 2 terms. Minus I1 R1 plus I2 R2. Or if you take I1 R1 on the other side, it becomes plus. So you will have I1 R1 is equals to I2 R2. So I have written it here. I1 R1 is equals to I2 R2. A slight rearrangement. Take I2 on the other side, you will get it as I1 upon I2 is equals to R2 upon R1. Let me call it as equation 7. Same thing we shall do in the last equation, that is your equation 4. Putting Ig equals to 0, you are left with only 2 terms. One is negative, another is positive. If you take this on the other side, it becomes plus. So you will have plus I3 R3 is equals to I4 R4. So I have written it here. I3 R3 is equals to I4 R4. Again slight rearrangement. I will take the ratio I4 here. So I3 upon I4 is equals to R4 upon R3. Now for this term, I3 upon I4, I shall make use of equations 5 and 6. What is I3 current? I3 is equals to I1. So for I3 I have written as I1. What is I4? I4 is equals to I2. So I have written for I4 as I2. So I have substituted for both I3 and I4. I get it as I1 upon I2. So I got I1 upon I2 is equals to R4 upon R3. Let me call this as equation 8. This is equation 7 and this is equation 8. Observe equations 7 and 8. This is also for I1 upon I2. This is also for I1 upon I2. You can very easily equate 7 and 8. So if you equate the equation 7 and 8, you get the final result. R2 upon R1 should be equals to R4 upon R3. So that is the final condition I have written here. R2 upon R1 is equals to R4 upon R3. So how to remember the condition? You can see here, this R2 divided by R1 is equals to R4 divided by R3. You can write this condition in a number of ways. You can also write like this. R2 by R4 is equals to R1 by R3. So depending upon this circuit, they will be observing the condition of balance. So 2 marks question is also usually asked from Wheatstone's question. The 2 mark question will be like this. Only just not derive. Just write the condition of balance of Wheatstone's brick. So you have to draw the figure like this, and according to your figure, your condition should be correct. So you can name them as PQRS also. Name them in any manner, the resistors, but your diagram and your condition of balance should be correct. Then only you get the 2 marks. So you can remember like this. R2 by R1 is equals to R4 by R3. This condition is called as condition of balance of Wheatstone's network. So this is a repeatedly asked question in current electricity, and the marks for this will be, it is a 5 marks question. So if you want to remember the derivation for this 5 marks question, I will tell you briefly what are the steps for the derivation. First thing is, draw correct diagram with the correct direction of currents. First step. Second is, what is the second step? We have applied KCL for 2 junctions. What are the 2 junctions? One is B, another is D. So I got 2 equations. Equation 1, equation 2. Second, I will apply KVL for two loops. What are the two loops? A, B, D, A, one loop. Another is B, C, D, B. So I apply it for the two loops. You can traverse in either clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Apply the convention. You get two more equations. What are the two more equations? They are 3 and 4. Then come to the condition of balance. Very important. What is the condition of balance? Ig is equals to 0. Put Ig equals to 0 in all these four equations. You will get then 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then if you equate 7 and 8, you will get the final result. So this is the final result, that is condition of balance of Wheatstone's network. Now you will ask me, what is the use of this Wheatstone's network? I have written here 4 resistors. Right? Amongst that, one can be unknown. Suppose R4 is not known. This is your unknown resistance. You don't know the value of R4. You know the value of R1, R2 and R3. Then R4 can be very easily found out from the condition of balance. What will be R4 then? R4 will be equals to R2 upon R1 into R3. So these three are known, you can find out the unknown resistance. So if 3 resistance are known, 1 is unknown, you can find out the unknown resistance using the Wheatstone's bridge. So this is called as condition of balance of Wheatstone's bridge using the Kirchhoff's laws. Now, one practical form of Wheatstone's network that you will be doing in the lab. So what is the experiment that is based on this Wheatstone's network? One experiment based on this Wheatstone's network is called as meter bridge. So you will be doing this experiment in the lab, meter bridge. So when you come to the lab, actually do the connection, you will know the Wheatstone's condition more correctly there, how you get a null deflection in the galvanometer. So what is the principle of a meter bridge that you should remember? The principle of this meter bridge is nothing but balanced Wheatstone's network. And what is the use of meter bridge? To find out the unknown resistance. And if you know the unknown resistance, then you can find out the resistivity of the wire. So this is one practical application of Wheatstone's network, meter bridge. So when you come to the lab and do the experiment, you will be understanding it more clearly. Usually whatever experimental part is there in the theory, it is not asked there, because for practicals already 30 marks are there. Only just you remember what is the practical form of Wheatstone's bridge, that is your meter bridge. So in the lab we will be giving you the notes of this meter bridge. You will know the experimental arrangement, how to do the experiment, principle experiment. That time you can learn the meter bridge there. This is one. And one more experiment is included at the end of the chapter, that is called as potentiometer. This experiment also you are doing in the lab. The aim of this potentiometer is to find out the internal resistance of a cell and to compare EMF of two given cells. These two experiments are also there in your lab. You will be doing that. That time you will be understanding what is the principle, etc. for this. So these two experiments are there at the end of the chapter. You can learn it from your practical charts. They usually don't ask it in the theory because they are already there as an experiment. So this is about your Wheatstone's bridge. Understand the network carefully, revise this question again and again because it is a repeatedly asked question. So next time we shall do some problems on this Kirchhoff's laws and other problems on current electricity. So all those theory part becomes more clear. This is all for today's session. Thank you.